Last day of June. This sounds like a small little experience. Mother of Last Day of June was developed by Ovo Sonico and is playable on PS4 and PC. This is a review of the PC version, and with that, the game runs amazingly well. On my system there was 0 loading times and the game worked without a single problem. The only thing about the PC version I can pick at is the graphics settings, since there is none. The game is an indie game and a campaign-only experience, and the price reflects that. On Steam, the game cost around £14, which is a very respectable price for this small but beautiful game. Before I go any further, there will be a competition for PC players, so watch until the end to find out what is actually going on. When you start the game, the first thing you see is the lovely graphics. Everything in the world looks like it was a watercolor painting, and it is gorgeous to look at. The characters also has a similar art style, big heads, thin bodies, and strangely enough, no eyes. Only indentations of where they should be. This at the start seems a bit weird, but it strangely works since it fits very well with the art style. The game is an adventure game, you walk around, interact with objects, and so on. You play as Carl, a loving, caring husband to a beautiful wife called June, who is pregnant with their baby. The game starts by a lake, and immediately the game shows you its character building and its use of sounds and not language. The characters in the game don't speak English or French, they have their own language, and with no subtitles, leaves you guessing what they are actually saying to each other. But the game's writers and animators have done an amazing job in conveying the characters' personalities and emotions without saying a single thing. There is more personality in these characters than the entirety of Halo 5. Man, what the hell happened with that game? You are then shown how they got to the lake, and the game introduced you to the supporting characters, the child, the best friend, the hunter, and the old man. June gets a present from the old man to give to Carl. After walking around the house trying to find a good place to put the presents, she finds a photograph of the lake they used to visit a lot, and she decides to take him there. But then Carl wakes up in his home. The color palette has shifted to black and blue. Carl is now in a wheelchair and June is nowhere to be found. Carl goes into a room which used to have paintings of all the supporting characters, but everything has been put away. But then a painting of June appears on one of the painting stands, and you are given the option of remembering what happened. Carl recalls the moment June died, which was caused by the child playing around on the road. Then the paintings of the supporting characters are scattered around the small town. So you go out and try to find them. The town is eerie and limbo-like. As you explore, there are like ghosts from the past, which you can interact with, each one showing the beautiful relationship between Carl and June. Some paintings at this moment cannot be acquired because of locked gates and stairs. You get the painting of the boy, and now Carl rewinds time and tries to change the past and save June. You are then transported back in time to the moment Carl and June left for the lake. But now the story is focused on the child, who is bored out of his mind, with no one to play with. At this point, you have to think to yourself, why was the boy on the road in the first place? And then try to find another way. Around the map, there are blue circles that have characters' faces on them, and only when you are playing as that specific character with that face can you pick them up. So what are they? Well, they are memories of the character's past. Each one is a photograph. Some at the start you can't get to since they are behind locked gates and so on. So you have to go back for them later on in the game. You finally find a way to stop the kid from being on the road, but then somebody else causes June's death. Carl is forced back into the limbo world again. Now the next painting is accessible. You will be jumping back and forth between paintings, changing the past again and again. If a character has an object that you need to go back, change that character's past, and then change the other character's past in order to get that object. As you play as different characters, more doors are opened up to you, and those doors are then open for the previous characters as well when you need to replay that certain character's past. And I suppose this is the game's main weakness. The game is very repetitive. You'll be doing things again and again, trying to find a different outcome, and the game knows this. Since instead of making you go through all the steps to get a kite to fly, you just need to activate the first part of the sequence and the day will end. But even though they cut a lot out of the repetitiveness of the gameplay, the cutscenes play in its entirety over and over. There's no way to skip it, so after a while it can get annoying, especially when you already know what is going to happen. But the game requires you to feel like Carl. By having you sit there and watch June's death over and over, the game drills into you the emotions that Carl feels, and when everything you have done doesn't seem to work, and you personally have this feeling of hopelessness, Carl breaks down and wants to forget all of what has happened. The game's gameplay is not particularly interesting. You go over somewhere, you interact with that object, you go over somewhere else, you interact with that object, and that is essentially the gameplay. But that isn't really why you're playing this game in the first place. The music is nothing short of beautiful. lifting up the happy moments and bringing a tear to your eye. What is funny is that this game was based on a song by Steven Wilson, who also made the soundtracks for this game. The song the game was based on was called Drive Home. And when you have a look at the music video, you can clearly see where the game got its art style from. The game is about hopelessness, depression, and dealing with losing a loved one. And in Carl's case, he has not dealt with it well. That is why the colors are so drastically different. The dark blues show his depression and loneliness, and why he is going to the ends of the earth to save her. The ending is one of the most bittersweet things I have seen, and I was in tears. I felt like I was watching a sad freaking anime, like Angel Beats or Anohana the Flower we saw that day. The Last Day of June is the only game to have me in tears to this point. Unlike Gears of War, where I did start to feel it and then I turned off my console because I didn't particularly want to go any further, or Halo 4, which did bring a tear to my eye, but not as badly or as much as this one. And then it didn't end there. The last scene of the game is so sweet and so well done that it made the game, and I couldn't believe what I just played. After all of that, the game took me around 3 hours to complete. That is including finding all the memories in the world. The Last Day of June is, in my opinion, a must experience if you want an emotional journey and something that's different from what is normally put in front of us. If, however, you don't particularly want to go through the repetitiveness, the gameplay is just too dull for you, then I can totally understand why you would not pick up this game. However, without a doubt, I truly believe that the game is worth it. Even though the runtime is not very long and things start to get a bit repetitive, but the game is one of the only games that made me walk away feeling happy, sad, and everything in between. Alright, so you made it to the end of the video, or maybe you skipped to the end of the video. I'm not entirely sure. Who cares? So, for competition. So, there's a link in the description to go to Gleam where the competition is being held, and in order for you to enter the competition, and it's of course PC only, you have to be subscribed to my channel, and you can also have a bonus entry of following my Twitter. And I don't particularly tweet that much. The only thing I tweet about is about games, and that's particularly all I give a shit about on my Twitter. Anyway, what the competition is, a chance to win a PC game, and that PC game being Hellblade for the PC, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, which I reviewed last month. I felt like that game was incredible, and if you haven't got a chance to go out and buy it yet, then enter the giveaway. It's completely free to enter. So what will happen is you'll put in your name and you put in your email address, and if you win, I'll send you an email asking for your Steam name so I can gift you the game through Steam, making it very easy and have it over and done with. And the reason why I'm hosting the competition is this is my way of saying thank you to everyone who's stuck with me and watched my reviews. And also this is basically me kind of making up for not being able to get reviews out constantly and on time. I'm sorry, back up at uni. Third year, which is where the second last year, which is the time where you're meant to really start pushing hard for your grades. So yeah, I'm expecting to not be able to put up constantly content all the time, and I may end up missing a review, so just keep that in mind. And this is my way of trying to say sorry and also giving back to you guys for supporting me. So everyone, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.